From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Hi everyone and welcome to Studio One. I'm Averi Haugesag.
And I'm Biernat.
Today on the show, parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin are known as hotspots for ticks that can carry Lyme disease. Two North Dakota researchers will tell us how they stumbled upon Lyme disease carrying ticks in their area.
Also, the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution established the right to bear arms in 1791. People today are struggling with exactly what that means. We'll tell you about their current situation on gun control. But first, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention is warning the public that this year's flu vaccine may not be as effective as in previous years. The virus has mutated and in many cases is not the same virus that is in the vaccine. The CDC took samples of the current virus from October 1st through November 22nd. Its findings show only 48% of the strains are matched to the vaccine. The CDC still recommends that people get the flu shot because it can decrease the chances of contraction and lessen the severity of the virus. The video sharing website YouTube had to update its website recently because of an unexpected problem. The music video for Psy's hit song Gangnam Style has exceeded 2 billion views, which is more than the view counter can handle. It was designed to go slightly over 2 billion, but due to the popularity of the video, it can no longer keep counting. When asked about the problem, a spokesperson for YouTube said they never thought a video would be watched that many times. Every winter is as unpredictable as the last. It's hard to expect the unexpected, but there is a way to prepare for it. Now that the snow and cold are here, the need to service your vehicle has become a must. Mechanics recommend all car owners check their coolant temperature, clear any ice and snow from lights and wipers, and test their battery. The season brings many emergency phone calls, with dead batteries being the most common problem.
Check for corrosion on top of your battery posts. Copper corrodes and becomes a lighter green color. If you want to clean it off yourself, it's just baking soda and water will take off the majority of that acid buildup.
Learning how to properly care for your battery will help you avoid being caught in the cold. Craig says with this type of care, your battery can last more than 5 years.
Pennies earned are not always pennies saved. Millennials looking to pay off debts and save up for their future are finding it tougher to make ends meet. A recent study by Moody's Analytics shows younger people younger than 35 have a savings rate of -2%. That means they're spending more than they have. Although the unemployment rate is shrinking, young people have limited chances to move up in professional jobs, and wages have barely grown since the 1990s. The savings rate for millennials bottomed out in 2007, hitting -15%.
It's one of our basic rights as a U.S. citizen, but it's also one of the more controversial topics in our country. The right to bear arms has been a back-and-forth argument for years. Recent polls have shown a change.
Ethan and his dad, Mike, both share a common interest, an interest they describe as calming.
Well, it's kind of like golf. I guess I see it as a relaxing thing to do. It's kind of nice to be able to get out and do something.
Crime becomes the main dispute when it comes to gun control. But in a recent Gallup poll, less than 50% of Americans now support stricter gun laws.
There's lots of people who participate in lots of competitive shooting events. And so I think we have a realization that firearms can be used for lots of things that, are completely unrelated to crime.
Gun safety is a main target of concern, and the Rifle Club works hard to promote this type of awareness. They teach young shooters right away how to properly handle a firearm.
You never want to point a firearm in any location in which you're not willing to destroy what it's pointing at.
Public shootings are often highlighted on the news, but Kevin says that the individual holding the gun is the one in charge.
Evil people can do bad things with them, but the firearm itself is not inherently an evil device.
Many people, just like Mike, take advantage of the Second Amendment and the right to bear arms.
I have 45 caliber and 9mm and 22s for this range, and revolvers, rifles, shotguns.
Mike's aim is to get better at this sport. And just like any sport, the more you practice, the better you get.
Always kind of stunk at shooting a pistol, so the only way to get better is to just face it and try to improve your skills.
The U.S. is now at a near record high of voters who support handgun ownership. And as the debate continues, the only surefire thing is the conversation about gun use will carry on. Reporting for Studio One, I'm Brady Kappas.
After seeing a spike in support for stricter laws following the Newtown school shooting in 2012, the call for more stringent laws has settled to near record lows. And that's the news for now.
No, besides a BB gun, I don't think I've ever shot a gun before.
You know, neither have I, but I do know a few people that go to classes every week. So.
All right, interesting. Thanks, Will. Now let's go down to Scott Wolff for the weather news. Scott?
Thanks, Avery. So remember a couple of weeks ago we were talking about wildfires in California. Now these wildfires were caused by a drought, but that's not the only thing that this drought is affecting. Christmas tree farms are going out of business. There's only one Christmas tree farm that's left in San Diego County. And this is just because they can't keep the trees alive. It's too dry. But there is lots of rain that's coming into California. So much rain that there's some issues with mudslides. There was what's known as aerial mulching going on, which helps to anchor the soil so it doesn't all get washed away by the rain. So all this rain was coming from what's known as a cutoff low. Cutoff low forms usually a low pressure system will get pushed along by the jet stream here, but it can drop down away from the jet stream so there's nothing pushing it, and it'll just sit there and spin. It'll spin counterclockwise, so the wind on the southern part of it will be coming right out of the west, and that'll bring lots of moisture out of the Pacific Ocean and just drop it all in California. Lots and lots of rain. So this is actually how California gets most of their rain during the winter, is from cutoff lows. So all of this rain can cause some watches and warnings. These are going to be issued by the National Weather Service. We talked to a meteorologist who knows quite a bit about these.
As even colder days approach, people check weather announcements daily. Most everyone has heard of a weather watch, advisory, or warning. One meteorologist compares each announcement to ready, set, and go.
In the wintertime, a blizzard watch, for example, would be issued if we feel that falling snow or existing snow on the ground and strong enough winds would reduce the visibility to below a certain criteria, making travel impossible.
A watch would be considered a ready and a ready, set, go example. Weather conditions are the key factors when it comes to issuing advisories, watches, and warnings.
Set. Well, okay, we do have some conditions that are forming. The advisory has been issued. Could be dense fog, could be maybe the winds are going to be kind of high, a little drifting and blowing snow, may cause you some travel problems.
Mark says to get ready for watch, set for advisory, and warning as a go because it requires immediate response.
The warnings are the ones that demand the highest and most immediate of actions. An advisory can also be significant, especially if it's, say, a travel holiday season.
This winter, when people want to venture outside, the National Weather Service works hard to give them the best information possible. Reporting for Studio One, I'm Woo-Yeon Bang.
The Storm Prediction Center of the National Weather Service issues around 1,000 watches every year. That brings us around to the weather question of the week. What is the wettest month on average for San Francisco, California? Now, Avery, San Francisco is known for how much rain they get, so keep that in mind when you're picking out which month you want to choose there.
All right, thanks, Scott. Now we're going to head on over to Will Biernat for a sports story. Will?
All right, thanks, Avery. A new workout is tiptoeing its way to the top of the exercise list. This total body activity is becoming the trendy way to tone muscles.
Twice a week, Heather Smith brings a low-impact workout to the classroom with high spirits. Heather is the only student at the University of North Dakota certified to teach barre. This 60-minute class consists of a combination of Pilates, yoga, and ballet, lengthening and strengthening specific muscles.
It's kind of hard, but you gotta push yourself.
Heather provides motivation and dedication to her students by setting a positive tone, guiding students with giggles.
You're not sneaky.
And getting results.
I like people yelling at me like that, so it's easier when somebody goofs around and stuff.
Not only does barre sculpt muscles, it increases flexibility, coordination, and posture while reducing weight and stress. Barre was created to protect joints by avoiding harsh movements such as bouncing and jumping.
Nice little burn in our shoulder.
Every strength section is followed by a stretching section. This technique is geared to tighten and tone.
Girls don't have to worry about getting bulky and everything like that, but they can still work up a little bit of muscle.
This muscular challenge may be difficult, but when accompanied with Heather's lively encouragement, students say it's worth the sweat. I'm Ella Dorner, reporting for Studio One.
See you next week.
No prior dance or fitness experience is needed to participate in barre. These classes are open to everyone. And that's the sports story for today's show. Avery?
All right, thanks, Will. After taking his family pet to the veterinarian, one North Dakota researcher discovered a dangerous disease spread by ticks has made its way to a brand new region. We'll explain how to protect yourself. That's next.
Closed captioning for Studio One is underwritten in part by NDAD, helping others to help themselves.
To have the future you want and a career you'll be proud of, you'll need a great education. The University of North Dakota can get you there with more than 225 degree programs, preparing you for today's fastest growing, high demand careers, like medicine and health professions, aerospace, business, engineering, and energy. Schedule your campus visit today at und.edu/go, because to succeed, you need to be exceptional.
At the University of North Dakota College of Engineering and Mines, classes have real-life application. Mentors guide students. Our work improves quality of life by answering tough questions with creativity and innovation. The University of North Dakota College of Engineering and Mines, training tomorrow's engineering and geology experts today. At the University of North Dakota College of Engineering and Mines, classes have real-life application. Mentors guide students. Our work improves quality of life by answering tough questions with creativity and innovation. The University of North Dakota College of Engineering and Mines, training tomorrow's engineering and geology experts today.
Closed captioning for Studio One is supported in part by the Listen Center, enriching the lives of people who have intellectual disabilities with choices in community recreation.
Just this year, a discovery was made in northeast North Dakota. A potentially life-threatening disease has made its way to Grand Forks County for the first time ever. UND professors and Lyme disease researchers Jefferson Vaughn and Catherine Brissett are here with us today to discuss how they discovered the threat. Thanks for being on the show with us today, you two.
Thank you.
So for the first time ever, we have rodents on the table with us. But before we discuss that, I have a couple other questions for you. So, starting out with Jeff, what prompted you to start researching Lyme disease?
Well, the thing that prompted it was going to the veterinarian with my dog, and the veterinarian brought to me these ticks. He said, "These ticks look very strange. Never seen these type before." So I took them back to the lab, and the veterinarian was correct. These were ticks that were not known to occur here in North Dakota. They were deer ticks.
So it's never been in Grand Forks before then?
And as far as we know, no.
Okay. So can you describe the ticks a little bit that do carry the disease?
Well, these ticks are a lot smaller than the ticks most people are used to, and they're very dark-legged. In fact, they're sometimes known as the dark-legged or the black-legged tick.
Mm-hmm. Now, there's some pictures up here. They look like they're a lot smaller than I expected.
Much smaller.
I mean, how big and how small can they be? I mean, what's the size usually?
Well, they're probably about half the size of the ticks that we're normally used to seeing.
Mm-hmm. So they can be like poppy seed size, maybe?
Poppy seed, yeah.
Okay. And how do they latch on then? I mean, do they have parts that kind of...
Oh, yes, yes. They have a very nice centrally located organ that they use. It has tooth, and they dig it into your skin.
Kind of looks like a sawtooth almost on there.
Very much so, very much so.
It's interesting. So how can these ticks are found in other Midwestern states as well, correct?
Well, they're found in the forested parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
So yes.
Are those kind of the hot spots then? Or?
Those are that's one of the main hot spots for Lyme disease, and is the Wisconsin and eastern Minnesota. The other hot spot would be New England.
Okay. So now how did you two test these ticks then? If they're so small. If they're so small, how did you test them?
Well, we had a graduate student go out there and catch rodents. And he would pick the ticks off the rodents and then bring them back to the lab. And then we chop them up and then we assay them for the germ.
Now these are some of the rodents up here?
These are some of the rodents that that are out there running around right now.
Can you tell me a little bit about them?
Well, yeah, there's two sets of rodents. The ones we see now, these are the short-tailed ones. These are called the voles, okay? And they carry a lot of ticks on them. The other type of rodent we have are the white-footed mice. Now, white-footed mice are the normal, regular carrier of the Lyme disease.
Okay, common in the Midwest?
Common in New England and known to occur in the Midwest as well.
Okay. Now, Catherine, is the disease easy to contract?
So in eastern North Dakota, probably 5% of these particular ticks will carry the bacteria that causes Lyme disease. So the risk is still relatively low. And you also have a grace period. So if you do get bitten by a tick, it takes at least 24 hours, perhaps even a little bit longer, for the bacteria to travel into the bite site. So if you check yourself for ticks every day and remove any ticks that you do find, you significantly reduce your chance of getting Lyme disease.
Now, from what I understand, there's kind of a proper way to remove them. How would you take one off if you did find one latched onto your skin somewhere?
So the best way to do it is with tweezers, or if you have nice, short, sturdy fingernails, and grasp the tick very close to the skin.
Fairly tight?
Fairly tight, and just a quick pull. And you'll probably get some skin comes off with it too, but that's good because you want to remove those mouth parts, those sawtooth that you saw earlier. You want to remove those from the bite.
Now,
you don't want to. No, just pull straight up. You don't want to put Vaseline on the tick. You don't want to burn them with a match. Just pull them out.
Okay. Now, when is the peak time for this disease to be contracted then?
So there's 3 life stages of the tick. There's the larvae and the nymph and the adult. And most people are bitten by nymphs, and nymphs feed generally in the summer. So perhaps late spring as well, but generally nymphs are out looking for something to eat in the summer.
June, July.
Exactly.
Okay. So what are some symptoms if someone did think that they had Lyme's disease? What would they be seeing?
So the early symptoms are very nonspecific. People will feel, kind of flu-like symptoms. You just feel kind of run down, kind of achy. You might have a headache, joint aches, muscle aches. One of the real telltale signs of Lyme disease is a particular kind of rash. It's often referred to as a bullseye rash, but it's a kind of a spreading rash. It doesn't itch, it doesn't hurt, but at the site of the tick bite, you'll get this red rash that expands. And that occurs in about 60% of people who contract the disease. So if you have that rash, that's a pretty good indicator that you've contracted Lyme disease.
Okay, so now what can the disease do to your body then?
So these bacteria are really good at spreading all throughout your body, but there's particular places they like. They like your skin, hence the rash. They like joints. So about 60% of people who don't get treated will develop arthritis.
Okay.
Really huge, especially in the knee joints. These bacteria also like the heart, and so people can get inflammation in their heart. That can be quite severe. In fact, that's the only way that you can die from Lyme disease is from the cardiac manifestations. And they also like the nervous system. So they can cause things like, there's something called Bell's palsy, where half of your face will be paralyzed.
Wow.
So it can be quite serious.
Severe. All right, now Jefferson, last question. What is the best way to prevent catching Lyme disease?
Well, the best way to prevent catching Lyme disease is just do your tick checks when you come in from the woods, okay? Now you should also know that this particular tick is a forest tick. So if you're in the forest, that's the time to do your tick check and remove the tick right away.
Great. All right, thanks for being on the show with us today, you two.
Thank you so much.
Coming up, the pictures in storybooks can bring the words to life for children. We'll meet one woman whose attire can bring the words to life better than any illustration.
Studio One closed captioning is underwritten in part by Options, your disability information source.
It's not the size of the woman in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the woman.
To have the future you want and a career you'll be proud of, you'll need a great education. The University of North Dakota can get you there with more than 225 degree programs, preparing you for today's fastest growing, high demand careers, like medicine and health professions, aerospace, business, engineering, and energy. Schedule your campus visit today at und.edu/go, because to succeed, you need to be exceptional.
North Dakota is facing challenges in healthcare delivery. The University of North Dakota School of Medicine and Health Sciences is building a place to help meet the state's healthcare needs. In addition to a new structure, we're also building interaction between healthcare professionals while building a workforce through expanding class sizes. We're inspiring our youth to engage in healthcare careers and exploring ways to reduce disease. It starts here and ends here, building a better future for North Dakota.
Others live to their full potential, improve clients' mental and physical well-being, excel in one of the top healthcare careers of the future. Occupational therapy students at the University of North Dakota experience high-quality education in small classes.
Have to come to 45 degrees, even in a normal motion pattern.
Your healthcare career begins at the University of North Dakota.
If you would like to attend a live show, go to our website at studio1.und.edu.
Actor Christian Bale is taking off the Batman suit to take on another heroic role. In the new movie Exodus, Bale plays Moses, a man who has to betray people that are close to him to save thousands of others. Moses defies the Egyptian pharaoh Ramses and is faced with the task of saving 600,000 slaves. In this ancient Egyptian society, Ramses is the one that everyone answers to. When Moses rises up against him, it causes an uproar. Moses has to put everything and everyone that he loves on the line to help save the empire.
Then he has an experience which he considers to be a calling, where he believes his place is as leader of a revolution in let my people go.
Instead of filming in controlled environments, director Ridley Scott chose to shoot most of the movie outdoors in Spain, even though the true setting is Egypt. Due to cooperative weather conditions, the film was shot in just 74 days. Exodus is released in theaters on December 12th with a PG-13 rating. The holiday season is here, and that means people are starting to buy gifts for their loved ones. With deals going on beyond Black Friday this year, shoppers are on the lookout for the best prices for that special present. We wanted your thoughts on how you prepare for the holiday shopping season.
I've been basically just going around store to store, making lists, taking pictures of everything I want to buy.
Most of my shopping has been online, but right now we're just kind of looking for presents for my parents.
Trying to go in advance, especially for the kids and stuff, go to certain places they like.
I'm making most of my gifts for my children and my grandchildren.
I've been preparing for a while, just shopping around as much as I can, trying to find deals, obviously. Got a whole plan.
Well, the first thing we're doing to prepare ourselves is doing some pheasant hunting. That's where you get in the festive mood. And then after that, we'll think about getting some gifts for the family.
I typically get a list together and figure out who I need to buy for, and then, with different sales going on, whether it be Black Friday or, pre-Christmas sales.
A comment from our Facebook page from Eden Prairie said, "When it comes to holiday shopping, I'm as bad of a procrastinator as anyone. So when it comes down to the last days for shopping, I'll be running all over the mall trying to find the best deals while still getting what everyone wants." Stephen from Grand Forks, North Dakota said, "I don't normally do any shopping online. However, if I know there is something my friends or family would like and I can't find it anywhere, I will then resort to the internet to find what I need."
The cold winter weather can make it hard for parents to find ways to keep their little ones occupied. We found one woman who not only ignites children's imaginations, but also brings Once Upon a Time to life.
On a cold Friday morning in Grand Forks, children of all ages wait anxiously. After a bit of dancing and playing, royalty emerges through the coffee shop doors in a bright blue dress with a bag of books in hand.
Just love to read stories to children and sing and dance and all of that. And I think it's nice to give them an opportunity to really indulge in reading from books.
Princess Genevieve makes appearances at birthday and holiday parties, bookstores, libraries, schools, and coffee shops. She lets the parents of these little princes and princesses enjoy a latte while she brings them on an enchanting journey.
And we've always wanted to do some type of story time here at the Ember. A way for kids to come and have some fun, maybe some hot chocolate, and then also for the parents at the same time to take a break.
This was the first time the shop has made the transformation into a magical kingdom. The children enjoyed a lesson in royalty etiquette, all the while admiring tales from a real-life princess.
I really love it when they tell me stories too, because sometimes they've come up with their own stories and it's absolutely wonderful.
All the gowns that this princess appears in, she hand makes. But more importantly, she likes to make memories and experiences for the children that they will always remember.
Happy now. This one little boy got it in his hands, and with complete sincerity, he says, I can really feel the magic.
As the parents finish up their drinks and conversations, she left the children with a song and scrolls to bring home, but also an invitation to come again. With photographer Megan Hoffman, I'm Warren Goulding, reporting for Studio One.
Bye-bye.
Princess Genevieve is working on creating her own book filled with stories and also a section for children to make up their own fairy tales.
All right, thanks, Will. Now we're going to head on over to Scott with the weather news. Scott?
Thanks, Avery. So we're looking at warmer than average temperatures across most of the nation, particularly on the west coast, but all the way up to the central plains and northern plains as well. Slightly cooler than average temperatures in Florida, so if you're vacationing down there, keep that in mind. Looking at drier than average conditions across much of the United States again, particularly on the east coast and the northern plains and in the northern Rockies. Wetter than average conditions on the Pacific coast and down to Texas. That brings us back around to the weather question of the week. What is the wettest month on average for San Francisco, California? And that is actually December. So they get about 4.5 inches of rain in December. That's only about 0.2 of an inch more than most of the other winter months, but it wins out by just a bit.
Now, from what I understand, it's raining in California right now, correct?
Yep, so they're getting a head start on that.
All right, thanks, Scott. And that's our show for today. As always, you can follow us through social media or get more information on our website. From all of us here at Studio One, have a great week.
See you next time.